Hello and welcome to the 46th episode of Williams Whiteboard. As I always do, I'd like to take a quick moment just to say thank you to all of you that have come by, watched the videos, left comments, likes, and shares. I really appreciate it. So on this 42nd episode, I'm going to do part 2 of last week's episode 45 of PALT tracking. So this is PALT tracking part 2. Okay, here we go. So last week's episode, I got a lot of feedback, a lot of comments, a lot of interest around the concept of the OMB memo talking about PALT tracking. And the biggest question that I had was, why does it take so long to create requirements? Okay, from a standpoint of all of the things that are involved in the acquisition process, why is the requirements piece so long, or the perception that it is so long in the entire acquisition life cycle? Now, I believe personally there are 5 things. I've done some thinking on this, went into the lab and thought about the 5 things of why it takes so long, okay, in terms of requirements definition. Okay. Why does it take so long? And I think there are 5. I'm only going to talk about 1 today because I want this to make sure that it stays within the time frame. But the biggest, I'm talking about the most important in my opinion, the most important is based on the concept of Parkinson's law. Parkinson's law, okay? And Parkinson's law says work expands to fill the time allotted for it. Parkinson's law. Work expands to fill the time allotted for it. This is why I believe requirements definition takes an inordinate, in my opinion, amount of time in the acquisition life cycle, because it's not on the clock. Okay? So if you have 9 months to work on your requirements, guess how long it's going to take? 9 months. If you have 3 months to work on your requirements, guess how long it's going to take? 3 months. If you have 30 days, which we know happens in August and September of every fiscal year, if you have 30 days to work on your requirements, surprisingly, your requirements manifest in about 30 days. Here's another reason to demonstrate, here's another issue to demonstrate the power of Parkinson's law. Okay, we're in tax season now, and technically by IRS regulation, by January 31st, you should have all of the information. Jan 31st, you should have all the information to file your taxes. Okay, so that's W-2s, 1099s, your dividends, all of the activity and the reporting activity needs to happen by January 31st. Here are the facts. 1 in 7 tax filers file between April 10th and 15th. 1 in 7, which is, it equals about 21 million tax filers. Okay, we have all of the information in January, but work expands to the time allotted for it. Therefore, if you have until the second week of April, you take it. This is the same issue with requirements definition. In my opinion, the best thing you can do to shorten the requirements time frame is to put a time limit on their production. Okay. Put a time limit on it. I don't think there is a requirement on the planet, probably outside of an aircraft or some large thing, that in 60 days you can't go from demand signal to requirement document. Okay, 60 days. Okay, should be a lot less, but let's assume 2 months. So imagine if in the acquisition life cycle, you could turn the requirements definition phase, okay, that part of actually coming up with a requirement that's robust enough to go and detailed enough to go on the street to be competed. Okay, if you could do that in 60 days, in 2 months, imagine all the downstream savings and time that could happen. This is Williams' whiteboard, and this is the concept of Parkinson's law as it applies to PALT tracking, part 2. Give me some thoughts and comments on what you think about this, which I believe is the #1 reason why it takes so long. Give me some thoughts and comments. Maybe there's some others. And if anybody wants to talk about the other 4, shoot me a comment. Let's talk about it. Shoot me a message and let's talk about it. All the best to you. And as I always say, when you're chewing on a problem and you don't know what to do, grab a whiteboard and a marker and get after it. All the best and be well.